Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life-changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I am grateful that you're joining me today. And today I have a special show for you. Today I'm tackling kind of a popular problem, a issue that I help people with all of the time. And that is really releasing that looping head noise. This is where you're continuously trying to figure something out, right? You have maybe a problem or an upsetting issue, and you're continuously looping in all of the possible outcomes, worrying, stressing about what's going to happen. And maybe you've had the same looping thought in your head forever, which is common. I have clients who have been stressing about the same thing for as long as they can remember. And I can say truly, I used to be a head looper. I used to loop about the same issues over and over and over. And generally, if you're a looper, you have this even if it's just like random problems. Maybe you have continuous stress patterns where you're continuously overthinking, stressing, worrying. Well, today I'm going to give you some other options. What if you didn't have to stress and worry all the time? What if you could easily release that stress loop that plays in your head? What if you no longer had to obsess and worry? How awesome would that be, right? If you could really truly get out of your head with all of that looping nonsense where you're continuously trying to figure stuff out. Yeah, so let's get started today. Let's really get to the heart of this looping issue and let's really get you some different possibilities, some new solutions to really have you break up that looping problem and really go to a place where you truly have different possibilities for your life. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started today. So go ahead and let's put our barriers down, our barriers down. Our barriers down, and this is a very important part of breaking that stress loop is really getting present in yourself. So what we're doing today, if you've never heard this before, is we're just going to really allow ourselves to connect into our being, not our body, right? We're going to have our body with us, obviously, but we're really going to get our being and really expand our being out so we can really truly be some space instead of being that ball of contraction, especially if you're stressing and worrying. I guarantee everything's kind of all tight, right? You got this you feel this stress reaction in your body. So we really want to kind of dissolve that and kind of clear that out. So let's put our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down. And go ahead and take some nice deep breaths. Awesome. And all we're doing here is we're just kind of allowing this energy to go in and kind of melt that heaviness feeling that we're kind of drudging through the day, just to really kind of connect into our body. And then what we're going to do is we're going to expand our being. So essentially what we're doing is taking our being and expanding it outside of our body, because we are an infinite being, right? We have an infinite amount of energy, of space, and of consciousness. And then we have a body. But our body is inside of that energy, space, and consciousness, not the energy, space, and consciousness isn't inside the body. Well, it may be. And that's really kind of keeping your energy, space, and consciousness, your being, just very locked up and very limited. When in all reality, your being is this amazing, big space of infiniteness. And we want to go to that space. We want to really allow your being to expand into that space that you truly be. So let's go ahead and expand out. So what I want you to do is make yourself as big as, go ahead and make yourself as big as the building that you're in right now. And you're going to go all the way out, and you're just expanding your being, not your body, okay? So you're going to go all the way out as big as the being, or as big as the building, sorry. Then you're going to go all the way down, as big as the building is wide. And you're going to go all the way up, as big as the building is wide. And you're just going to really take some nice deep breaths and allow yourself to kind of just relax even further. You don't actually have to do anything, okay? You don't have to figure anything out. You don't even have to visualize anything. Just listen to the sound of my voice. And as I'm doing this, I'm just really kind of delivering some energy to just kind of untangle some of that upset energy that you may be stuck in. And we're going to go ahead and expand out, make yourself as big as the state that you're in. So we're going to go way bigger, and we're going to go all the way out as big as the state is wide, and all the way down as big as the state is wide, and all the way up as big as the state is wide. Just take some nice deep breaths. And go ahead and expand out as big as the country that you're in. You're going to go all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. And some nice deep breaths. And let's go ahead and go out as big as the planet that we're on. This is a big jump here. As big as the planet that we're on, bigger and faster and bigger and faster, just really allowing our being to be one with everyone and everything. Nice deep breath. And go ahead and make yourself as big as the universe as it truly is. Yeah, nice deep breath, just really allowing your being to just relax into this expanded space. And then we're going to times that by a million. We're going to go multiverses, okay? Times that by a million. Times that by a million, times that by a million. Really encompassing multiple universes. And take a nice deep breath. Bigger, faster, bigger, faster, bigger, faster, bigger, faster. And just really be present here and just relax all the way out. We're going to go all the way out, all the way out, all the way out, all the way out to the space of who you be as the infinite being that you be. Yeah. And as we're kind of vortexing into this space, I'm going to just really allow your body to vortex here. I'm just going to really kind of send this energy of relaxation through every single molecule of your being, just really allowing you to become more and more present in your body, allowing all of those stresses, all of those uptight feelings in your body to just kind of melt away. Yeah, and take a nice deep breath. So when I'm talking about vortexing here, it's just like this, it's the natural flow of who you are. It's kind of like I kind of perceive it as like, what it feels like to me is it's kind of like this energy where it's like, I don't know if you've ever in your life been like, if you've ever tubed down a river, canoed down a river. I guess tubing is probably a better example because canoeing's kind of a little more stressful, but I'm from Michigan, and that's what we do in the summer. When it's nice out, we have lots of rivers, lots of little paths, lots of little lakes all over, and you know what we do is we get in our little inner tubes and we go floating down the river. And when you're floating down the river, it has this certain feeling of just like, it kind of just feels like a gentle rocking. Now for me, it kind of feels like a figure eight pattern. So it's kind of like this like up and down and up and down and up and down. It's kind of like this slow feeling. And there's really kind of this feeling of relaxation that's kind of tied into that. And if you've ever tubed down a river, you know how very, very relaxing that is to just sit back and just feel the water on your feet and probably on your bum. I know for me, it's usually on my bum, right? And you're just floating and you're just floating down the river. And has this feeling of, the sun's kind of baking on your face and your body, and it just feels so warm and yummy. And there's just all of these amazing sounds of nature all around you. And so when I think about vortexing in my body, I kind of connect to who I am in that space. And I don't have anything to worry about. I don't have any upset. I'm very aware that the river is going to take me exactly where I need to go, right? There's no worrying that the river's going to take me down the wrong path. No, the river goes one way. And I know that wherever I'm headed, the river's going to take me there. There's no worry and there's no upset. And when I connect into this vortex place in my body, it kind of has that same feeling, like my being knows. It knows exactly where I need to go. It knows exactly the path I need to take. And when I connect within my being, when I really truly am in connection with who I am, there's no stress and no worry in that. And take a nice deep breath. And I hear it all the time, but what if I'm wrong? But what if this? But what if... No, there's no but what ifs. Because as soon as you go to but what if, and I feel like you can even feel that in the words that I'm talking about here. When I go to like, oh, but what if this and what if that and what if this, there's a quickening energy that goes on with the what ifs. There's a fast energy. There's like a loud kind of like I like to call it kind of like a woo 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 woo, and it's like fast, right? And that energy right there, that is not you. It was never you. You are never fast. Your body, your being, when you're connected to who you truly be, there is an ease and a flow that comes along with that is unmistakable. And it has that feeling of understanding that you have this. There's that, again, it's that getting in the tube, right? Floating down the river. There's no stress. There's no worries. There's just this sense of peace and calm. And there's knowing that you're on the right path. You're on your way. Take a nice deep breath. Breathing is a very, very important part of all of this. You can really control the way that your body stresses or relaxes based on your breath. If you ever notice when you're stressed out or when you're having a lot of anxiety or a lot of worry, your breathing is very shallow. And oftentimes you may find that you're not even breathing. You're holding your breath for long periods of time, maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds. And you know what that does is it further agitates your body, right? Because then your body is already stressed out. It's already like tied in knots. It's already getting very minimal circulation to those muscles, right? And then you're holding your breath on top of it, and your body goes into that like panicky feeling because it's not getting the oxygen that it requires. Yeah. So take a nice deep breath, and we're just going to connect. Really, I just really wanted you to get a real deep feeling of what that feels like to be connected to you and who you be. And that vortex of what your body is, and how to really connect to that slow and low energy of who you be. And take a nice deep breath. So when we're here, this is a very easy space to make decisions. Because in this energy, and as soon as I said decisions, I can feel the energy start to like it starts to like intensify, right? It starts to get like really fast, like, oh God, I gotta make a decision. And it's that energy right there. It's that quickening energy or that fastness that you're making your choices from based off that emotional intensity. And that emotional intensity is not real, it's not true. It's taking you out of the present moment. It's taking you out of the flow of possibilities. So when you're looping, when you're in that quickening energy, and you're looping on things, I have like kind of a checklist that I like to look at uh, when it comes to that. And I kind of wanted to run these down today. So one of the most popular things I think about looping is you don't have enough information. Okay. Oftentimes, when we're looping on something, we have already decided that it's going to turn out terrible, awful, like worst case scenario, right? We've already decided that, and then what we're trying to do is we're trying to dig ourselves out of that problem for the solution that we feel like is going to happen. It's like, I have decided I'm not going to have enough money to pay my bills this month, and so instead of going to even looking at how to make more money to pay my bills, I go right to what I'm going to have to do when I can't pay my bills. Okay, so all of that is complete and total, like it's all conclusion and judgment. None of that has to be real and true. Everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Yeah, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. I used an example here that I feel like at some point in your life, whether you have that problem right now or you had that problem in the past, it's one of those things that you can identify with, right? You decide you have the problem. Okay, I don't have enough money to pay my bills this month. Okay. And then and potentially maybe that really is going on, like maybe right this very moment you don't have enough money to pay your bills for the rest of the month. Okay, and whenever I'm looking at a problem with someone, I'm like, okay, what's true right this very moment? Okay, so when we go to, I don't have enough money to pay my bills this month. Okay, maybe right this second you don't have enough money to pay the rest of your bills for this month, but you know, if it's the 19th of the month and you're looking at, I can't pay a bill on the 31st, you don't think that there's any possible way that you could come up with any money between, the 19th and the 31st? Everything, all of that is, all of that, 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 all of that. Everywhere that, yeah, that exists right there. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of our universes? And can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. We're just gonna let that go. And all I'm doing here is, because we're in the large space, the energy space and consciousness of who we be, right? We want to clear that energy out in your field, that energy that takes you to, not only do you go to the worst case scenario, but then you decide what you're going to have to do because the worst case scenario happened, right? So what I was doing there was I was just clearing the energy in that, place where you loop in that so you can have a different possibility. Yeah, and take a nice deep breath. It's like you've already decided that something terrible is going to happen before that something terrible has even happened. And not only have you already decided that something terrible is going to happen, but you're already trying to figure out, once the terrible thing happens, how you're going to move on with your life from it. And it's like, I just want to point this out for a moment. We live in a frequency-based universe. Okay? And when you're planting in your energy, space, and consciousness that whatever the problem is that you're looping in, that's this this place where you have the problem, you've decided the problem is going to happen, and then you're trying to figure it out, right? Essentially what you're doing is you're telling the universe exactly, this is what I desire to happen for my life. And I know a lot of times that'll kind of put people in this like even more panic, because I get that's not really what you want to create for your life, right? So we want to back up, and we want to take a nice deep breath, and we want to reconnect back to that slow and low of who we are, right? We want to get out of that panicky feeling, because that panicky feeling is not you, it's not yours. And take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to be explaining these situations, and I'm going to give you some different possibilities here, okay, as we kind of go through, because these are all common, and each and every one of these, we can have a different possibility. When it comes to this energy where we are projecting what we feel like is going to happen and then trying to figure it out afterwards, it's like, I tell people this all the time, and when I'm doing coaching with them, it's like, you've already decided the very thing that you don't want to create is going to happen, and now you're doing damage control. And the thing is you haven't even created the damage yet. And everywhere all of that is for you, everywhere you're doing this damage control before you even create the damage. Yes, all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And everything that doesn't allow you to be conscious and aware of where you're doing that, everything, all of that is right there. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And take a nice deep breath. Oftentimes I'll talk to people, and they'll be in that place where they're worried about this one thing happening, right? Then they've decided it's already happened, or it's going to happen, and they're in that damage control place, and they feel so bad for themselves that they're in this position, right? And I get it. I totally do. And I get it so deeply because I've been there. I know how bad that sucks. But I'm going to tell you right now that that is not going to change anything. If you continue to perpetrate that cycle of sadness and upsetness, and that energy of nothing works out for me and everything's always terrible and all of that, it's all you're ever going to get, because what are you telling the universe? Nothing ever works out for me, right? I'm always sad. I'm always upset. I'm always putting out fires. I'll have people tell me I'm always the one that's putting out a fire. So awesome. The universe has always given you fires to put out. That's pretty amazing. You're a powerful creator. Your thoughts create your reality. If you do not want to create that reality, you have to learn how to have different thoughts. And I'm going to tell you right now, I get it. I know it's not easy. I know how angry I might even be making you right now, even considering that you're creating that in your life. I get it. But until you really start looking at what's going on in a way where you're not willing to have it happen to you anymore, when you get to that place where it doesn't really matter what's creating it anymore, it doesn't really matter, what's the word I'm looking for? When you get to a certain place where you're just ready to be done, you have to be real and true with yourself and realize that That's just a cycle you've been perpetrating. And the thing is you're not bad and wrong for staying there. It's just something we learn how to do. It's not like I'm even, I'm not singling you out and saying that you're a terrible person because you're looping in issues. I mean, that's the American way. That's the worldly way. I know we have a lot of people listening to this show that aren't necessarily American, but that's just how we are. That's how we're hardwired. We're hardwired to believe that we have to figure everything out with our head. And if this doesn't equal this, then that means that this is the end of the world as we know it. And what I'm inviting you to right now is realizing that what you learned about that was wrong. And that there is a million billion possibilities out there for you that can be created if you have the space and the willingness to look at these issues that you have in your life differently. Yeah, nice deep breath, and everything that doesn't allow that for you, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? And can we just choose that now? Deep breath, 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 deep breath. Yeah, nice deep breath, and let's just settle into that new space here. Give yourself permission to release that. You are not bad and wrong. No one here is trying to make you wrong for the looping patterns that you have in your head. Nice deep breath. Even the reality that you're listening to this radio show today shows me that you're looking for something different, that you're done, you're ready to be done looping in that anxiety and that worry in your mind, right? I get it. And take a nice deep breath. We really want to connect to that slow and low feeling inside. We want to really be back connected to that space of who you be. Nice deep breath. So one of the other things that I see is when you have this looping problem, and you're in that cycle of worry, is that you have way too much polarity around the thoughts. You have too much right and wrong and good and bad, and you're way too worried about what's Tom gonna think if I choose this, or what's my mom gonna think if I do that, or what's so and so gonna say if I create this, right? And that is creating some major anxiety in your life. You're stuck in that lie that you can't do it based on what you have decided is right and wrong and good and bad. Everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Yeah, nice deep breath. Everywhere you're looping on that cycle right there, everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And take a nice deep breath. So I kind of have two different things here. I have first the right and wrong, good and bad, right? All of these places where you have decided what each one of these different choices that you're looking at means, right? And then you have this other place where you have decided that maybe, Uncle Tom's going to have an issue with it, or maybe grandma's not going to be happy if you do that, right? So I kind of want to address these two things differently, right? So first and foremost, oftentimes we have a lot of polarity around something. We have a lot of right, wrong, good, bad, right? A lot of these ideas of what this choice is. So right away that tells me that you're stuck in a lie somewhere within the information. Like, okay, so a lot of times we decide, if I do this, this is what's going to happen, or this is what it's going to create. Okay, well, the reality is until you actually make the choice, the actual energy that it creates is to be determined. Now, sometimes we might have an awareness that a choice is going to create something, right? And I feel like that's a different space, because um, a lot of times if I have an awareness, okay, I'm going to choose this, and I get an awareness of what the choice is going to create for myself, I'm not looping in it. I'm very aware that this is the choice I'm going to make. This is what it's going to create. And even if I'm aware it's going to create some upset for someone, or I'm aware it's going to maybe create something for someone else that they don't like, I have to really look at, what's it going to create for me, right? And not doing it from kind of that selfish standpoint, but doing it from that realization that this is your life. And when you're looking at making a choice for your life, it's really not about coming to the conclusion about exactly what it's going to create. It's about looking at the choice as a whole, right? And really being able to perceive what the choice is going to create, whether it's going to create a lightness in your body and in your world, or whether it's going to create a heaviness in your body and in your world. Way too often we're looking at choices and we're trying to figure out exactly what the choice is going to create. And the reality is a choice is only as good as long as you're going to make it. You know, we have this viewpoint that we feel like once we make a choice, we have to stick with that choice for the rest of our lives, and that's not true. You know, obviously we have different types of choices, right? We have big choices and we have little choices. You know, big choice obviously like marrying someone, or or moving, or you're not going to make those choices lightly. That's not just a choice you just decide today and follow through with tomorrow, right? I mean, there's different ways to make different choices, but oftentimes this energy of what we're stressing and what we're looping in and what we're worrying about, yeah, going back to that, are really mostly insignificant choices in our life. You know, in 5 years, if you look at that choice, is it going to matter what you chose? I mean, you're looking at a big choice, right? If you're looking at a life or death choice, that's a totally different story. But most of this looping head noise is everyday choices. That even if something like, okay, let's just say worst case scenario, the thought I used earlier, I don't have enough money to pay my bills. Okay, well, I mean, at some point you're going to figure it out. You stressing and worrying about it isn't going to create anything that's going to create money, right? Even if you didn't have enough money to pay your bills, and say you went bankrupt, you're still going to live, you're still going to move on, your life's still going to go forward. It's not gonna make or break you for the rest of your life. It's one chapter of your story. It's one section of who you be. Everything, all of that is. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of universes, and can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. You get stuck in this lie that when you make this choice, this is the right and the wrong of it, the good and the bad of it, when in all actuality you could make the choice and it could create something completely different for your life. The figuring out of the head noise is actually not contributing to you. It's just creating more upset in your body and in your life when you get to that slow and low. Take a nice deep breath. So one of the things that I always suggest to people is, okay, so if you have this problem that you're looping in, right? You want to get out of the loop. So you want to start asking questions. Because the thing here is again, like you're making too many conclusions about what the answers that you feel like you have to make are. So you have to back up. You have to back it up. You have to back it up. And you want to start asking yourself some questions about this. You want to really get into that place of you, right? This slow and low place. And let's just ask, like, what would it take to have some ease here? Just ask that question out loud and just receive. And what you're going to do is you're going to receive that information. This is an ask and receive universe, right? So when you ask, what would it take to have some ease here? And you ask that in your own personal vibration, in who you be, in that space of you, and that slow and low. And you ask that of the universe. The universe responds energetically with an answer. And you want to receive that answer. You want to receive that answer right into your heart space. You want to take a nice deep breath. And you want to allow that energy to just kind of marinate within your body, because you want to actualize the ease of the choice. Yeah, and take a nice deep breath. And what would it take for you to have an awareness of what to choose with ease? So go ahead and ask that. What would it take to have an awareness of what to choose with ease? Yeah, and just receive. And what can you receive today to create that problem as ease right away? One more time. What can you receive to create this problem as ease right away? And just receive. Yeah. Asking and receiving is probably one of my favorite ways to really get out of looping in my head, to really get out of that looping head noise, right? Because one of the first thing that you have to really decide when it comes to this looping head noise is you have to stop. Like, you just really have to decide that you're done looping. And that means when you find yourself, because oftentimes, we don't even know we're looping until we've been doing it for, a half an hour or half the day, right? All of a sudden it's like dinner time and you're like spaced out, and your significant other or your children or your a work coworker or whatever is like, what is wrong with you today? And you're like, oh my gosh, I've just been like obsessing and worrying about this problem, right? You didn't even know you were. So as soon as you catch yourself in that space, you want to take some nice deep breaths. Yeah, nice deep breaths, nice deep breaths. You want to put your barriers down. You want to expand out. You want to get completely out of your head, into your body, expand into your being, and you want to start asking some questions. What can you receive to have ease? What can you receive to have an awareness of what to choose with ease? What can you do or be to get out of the upset here with ease? There's a million questions that you can ask about this, right? And you really want to settle back into that space of just receiving, disconnecting from the head noise. A nice deep breath. And if you're cycling in that place where you're looking at, okay, this is what I want to choose, right? I want to choose this, but Uncle Tom or grandma or my mom or, whoever it is that you're making significant in your choice is going to stress and worry or think it's a bad choice or think it's a bad decision or whatever. And I really want you to look at that for a moment, because number one, and I know that oftentimes I have people tell me all the time, well, it does really matter to me because I want to blah, 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 blah. Everywhere you want to put someone else over you in your own life. Yeah, all of that, 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 everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. This is your life. This is your choice. And I know often I think many of us have parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles that like to give a lot of advice. And maybe that's because you have came to them forever and asked them what they think. But I know personally that most family members just really want what's best for you. And they really want you to be happy. And what a better way to be happy than to make choices for yourself that expand you and create more for you. Yeah, and everything, all of that is right there. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Nice deep breath. And we're just going to kind of vortex that back, and really we're getting into us, right? We want to get into us, really releasing all those stress patterns, all those looping structures everywhere, that all of the, let's look at this, all of the Mobius strips, quantum particulate, Shikyu implants, trifold sequencing systems underneath, around, intertangled, and are locking and making sure that you're always looping in head noise, never having space of you, everything, all of that is all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Nice deep breath. Just really settle into you. One of the other things that I see often is you're not in a large enough viewpoint. You're looping in something, and you're generally this or thatting it, right? You're saying, okay, I have this problem and it's either this or that, this or that, this or that. Like, these are my only two choices. I either have to choose A or I have to choose B. You're looking at the situation over and over and over, and you're not exploring with the idea that you may actually have hundreds of choices available to you that you have never even considered. Yeah, nice deep breath. So if you're looping in something, worrying about something, stressing about something, continuously thinking about it over and over and over and going, I can choose this or I can choose that, I would invite you to really looking at, what are your other choices here? What other information can you receive about whatever it is that you're looping in that could actually allow you to have more choices with ease? What if it's not as simple as this or that? What if there's hundreds or even thousands of choices that you can make? I talk to people sometimes, and they'll tell me that, they're in that this or that. I can either do this or I can do that. And neither one of those choices feel really good to me. And I'm stressing and I'm worrying, and I'm like, well, what about all the other choices that you have available to you? Have you ever considered this? And they'll say, no, I can't do that because, and they'll give me all the reasons why they can't do that. Or I'll say, okay, well, what about this? Oh, no, I can't do that. And they'll give me all those reasons why they can't choose that, right? And then it's like, okay, I don't have any other possibilities. But you do. There's hundreds of possibilities that could happen in every single situation. I mean, even as easy as maybe you're stressing and worrying about something. I was working with somebody a while ago, and their child had gone to some pretty big trouble. There was it was kind of a civil infraction. It wasn't, they didn't hurt anybody or kill anybody, or it was just kind of one of those things. They got in trouble for something they had found on them, right? And it was like, she went to this, like, it's either going to be, jail time, or it's going to be, years and years of probation and criminal record, and, all of these terrible, awful things that, you don't want anything to happen of, right? And I'm like, well, what else is possible there? What else could be created there? I wonder if we held a different space about that, if something else could be created. Oh, no, 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 no. These are all the options, right? These are all the options the lawyers told me. It's this or this or this or this, right? There's no other options. There's no other possibilities. This is it. And I'm like, well, I mean, I seem to think that there's other possibilities here that we haven't even considered, right? And so I'm like, I'm gonna hold some space for that. And this is often what, what we do in a coaching situation. We hold space for a different possibility, right? And we're not coming up with a conclusion of what that other possibility is. I'm not saying, well, there's this that could happen and we're gonna hold space for that. No, I'm saying I'm gonna hold space for a completely different possibility that you've never even considered to happen. And we just breathe through it, right? We let go of all that stuff that we have already been told maybe that's going to happen, and all that stuff we're stressing and worrying about. We let it go, and we're going to shift to that holding space for something different to happen. And so what that ended up actually creating was, somehow the person had been basically arrested and spent a day or two in jail, um, and then they never heard anything. They hired a lawyer and, never heard anything. Months and months and months went by, and they contacted the lawyer. Lawyer's like, nope, still haven't heard anything yet. So finally, after, I want to say it was about, I don't even know, maybe 12 or 13 months, contacted the lawyer again, and the lawyer said, the case it's gone. It's been dismissed, like, not even dismissed, because basically the ticket is nowhere to be found. The ticket is nowhere to be found. It was gone, up and gone. Apparently, at the time of the infraction, the offices were moving to a new location, like the I don't know, whatever they are, the clerk or whoever holds the the tickets. Like, I think they're the clerk or something. The county clerk's office was moving into a new building, and they lost a whole bunch of files, and it just happened to be one of those files that got lost. And just like that, a whole different possibility was created. It's amazing to me. I do this work and I work with people, and it's like people have these amazing possibilities that become created in their universe when we stop focusing on what we have decided we have the option of, right? The this or that, or the stress and the worry, or the this and that, stress and the worry, right? When we get out of those places and we realize that the universe really does have our back, and it is a very abundant place with millions of possibilities. And there isn't anything that's off limits here. And if we can get out of the stress and the worry of the issues that we feel are plaguing our lives, and we can get into what else is possible. It's an amazing adventure of what can be created. You have to stop focusing on the problem, and instead you have to focus on the possibility or the easy solution that could be created. And again, it's not this place where you're going, okay, this is an easy solution, and now I have to focus on this solution, and this solution has to show up. No. It's surrendering to whatever it is that you're worrying about and going, you know what? I can't hold this space anymore. It's causing so much upset and so much worry in my life and in my body. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing it. I'm going to start asking for what else is possible here. I'm going to start asking and receiving for something different to show up. I'm going to start asking and receiving for some ease and some possibilities. And I'm going to allow myself to settle into that space where I know that I am an infinite being with infinite choice. And this universe didn't just give me a this or a that. The universe is not limiting me to two possible situations, both of which are going to stress me out. The universe has a million possibilities. So I don't care what it is that you're stressing and worrying about right now in your life. If you get out of your head and you get into the space of your body and you connect to who you be and the slow and low and peace and ease of who you are, and you start asking and receiving for something different to show up, for some ease in your body and in your life, for you to receive the best possible outcome in any situation that you have. I do not care what situation it is. Over the years, I have seen people triumph over situations that they had decided were going to be devastating in their life. And when we change the energy on that devastation, and when we let that devastation go, and we decide, I am not looping in the devastation any longer. I am letting that go. I am moving forward. I am choosing something different. I am choosing something greater. I am releasing myself from this awful, looping, stressful situation, and we go to what else is possible. I mean, honestly, if I could share all of the situations I come into contact with, I don't even know if I can even remember them all. I mean, it's like I I have these conversations like daily with people. They're like, "Oh my gosh, when I did this and this and this and all of a sudden this happened," and I was like, "Oh my God, I never even considered that's a possibility of my life." When you're open to possibilities, when you're open to something different, it's amazing what the universe has in store for you. Everything all of that is, and everything that doesn't allow you to connect to that magic of possibilities, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And nice deep breath. I'm really super excited right now because I am in the final stages of releasing my very first book, which is going to be basically kind of a combination of pretty much a majority of all of the tools that I use in my business and with my clients and in my coaching practice. These are all tools that are tools I've come up with, that are tools that I've learned from different leaders and consciousness tools that I have perfected in my own way that I like to use, just a variable of information. And this book is really excited to be created. It's excited for the possibilities of it getting out there and reaching people in new ways and in new levels. And I'm super excited for it to be finally becoming a life form of its own. And once I have this first book out, it's just going to kind of be a trickle effect from there. I have lots of other book ideas that are kind of going to be spin-offs from this first one, but this first one is really going to be my gold child. This is going to be a majority of my tools, and from there I'm going to talk about different ways to create other things in your life by using my tools. So I'm super duper excited for the book to come out, and I would love it if you enjoy my radio show. If you've been listening and you like the tools that I use, I would love it if you would pick a book up. Super excited. I don't have an official launch date yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be in the next, at least the next month. As soon as I have a better handle on exactly what that looks like, I will be releasing the launch date. And it should be sometime in March 2019. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to share my tools. I am grateful for the experiences that I have and for the feedback I've been receiving on my show. I appreciate each and every one of you that emails me or Facebook messages me to let me know how much new space you're getting from just listening. And I'm super grateful. I want each and every one of you to know that, you know, when each one of us decides to choose something different, when you start changing your mind from that looping stress and worry and you know, from the upset of the everyday, and you start actually really really getting into the space of possibilities, you know, the universe is very abundant. The universe is very thankful for us doing this, because not only are we helping ourselves evolve, but we're helping those around us evolve, and we're helping the planet evolve. You know, upholding these patterns of upset and guilt and anxiety, you know, you don't understand how much you being in that space is contributing to the global anxiety until you really get out of it and you really see how much of the world is really ping-ponged in that energy, and you see what it's creating in their life. I mean, if I could just gift you with anything today, it would be the awareness that looping head noise is creating more looping head noise and is creating more anxiety in your life than anything else. And when you really truly decide to be done with that and you really actively start creating something different, I really can't even tell you how much your life starts to change. So if today is your last day that you do it, if you take nothing else from this radio show, please take the gift that you do not have to be prisoner to that head noise any longer. You are an infinite being with infinite choices and infinite awareness and infinite possibilities. Life does not have to be difficult. Things do not have to be hard. You do not have to swim in worry. Yeah, nice deep breath. And everything that doesn't allow that for you, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And nice deep breath. I am grateful that you joined me today. I'm grateful that you listened to me babble for the last hour. And I just wanted to drop a little note, let you know that Expand Your Reality Institute is almost done. I'm going to have lots of amazing things going on with that too. It's like such an exciting time right now in my business. And if you have a certain problem or issue that you would love to bring with me on a radio show, please let me know as well. I'm always looking for guests so we can kind of dive into anything that's going on for you and really help you change that. So lots of amazing things, my book coming out, my institute getting ready to be launched, and looking for radio show people. So if you have an issue or a problem that you would like to talk to me about on Expand Your Reality, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on my website at www.jamie-bates BATES.com. You can also reach out to me on Facebook at my Expand Your Reality Facebook group, or just on my Facebook page, Jamie Bates, or my personal page, Jamie Bates. And let's talk, let's chat, let's dive in, let's change some stuff for you. Let's really get you on the track of awakening and allowing your being to step into the full conscious being that you be. So thank you so much for listening to me today. I'm grateful for the space of you and the space of willingness to be present on my show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next week. Have a great day. Bye.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.